Hello and welcome to RTV News. I am Isabel Masozera with the headlines. The President of the Republic of Rwanda, His Excellency Paul Kagame, believes that the East African Community member countries should put a lot of effort in developing their own capacities rather than waiting for foreign assistance. The Mbuto Foundation, through the I-Accelerator initiative, has officially launched a competition for young people to create projects that focus on reproductive and mental health. This is RTV News and we're coming to you live from our studios in Kigali, Rwanda. Top of our edition. President of Rwanda, His Excellency Paul Kagame, believes that the East African Community member countries should put a lot of effort in developing their own capabilities rather than waiting for foreign assistance, because doing so delays the community's activities and projects. He noted this in his remarks to the members of the East African Legislative Assembly convening here in Kigali, Rwanda. Adam Squizera kicks us off.
In his remarks, the President of the Republic of Rwanda, His Excellency Paul Kagame, appreciated the activities of the East African Legislative Assembly for their contribution to the development of the member countries. President Kagame emphasized the need for efficient financial management, despite the fact that the East African community still depends on grants.
First, the East African community is currently underfunded, delaying the implementation of projects and programs. As partners, we must work together to adopt a sustainable financing mechanism and take full ownership of our development with less reliance on external support, which we are appreciative of. Connected to that, we must ensure that resources are spent soundly and make financial accountability a top priority.
Honorable Martin Goga, the Speaker of the East African Legislative Assembly, noted that over the course of the past 5 years, the Assembly's members have made significant contributions to the development of the East African community, especially through the adoption of bills and laws that are intended to accelerate the community's development activities.
We have been having a conversation with the Council of Ministers on how to improve implementation of these resolutions and the joint follow-up mechanism. The resolutions passed during our tenure cover all areas of our integration process, namely accountability systems, management systems, community programs, community projects, and others. We have also enhanced the sensitization activities in the partner states. We carried out 5 outreach activities since we started our tour of duty in 2017. This is aimed at providing a platform for the East African community citizens to participate in the legislative process on all the bills we pass.
In this ceremony, Dr. Nibigira Ezekiel, who is Burundi's Minister for East African Community Affairs and the EAC Council of Ministers chairperson, delivered to His Excellency Paul Kagame the message of his counterpart, the President of Burundi, His Excellency Evariste Ndayishimiye, who is currently chairing the East African Community.
Your Excellency the President, I convey warm greetings from your counterpart, General Major Evariste Ndayishimiye, the President of the Republic of Burundi and the Chair of the EAC Summit. His Excellency, the Chair of the Summit, is aware that this parliamentary session is being held here in Kigali and reiterates his engagement to continue supporting the East African Legislative Assembly so that it can be an institution that effectively and efficiently delivers for the social and economic development of our region.
President Kagame also noted that young people make up the majority of the population of the East African Community's member countries, which gives a task to the leaders to take a lead in coordinating their activities through the capacity building of the people, particularly the youth.
Youth account for the vast majority of our populations, and their number will continue to grow. As a result, in the second half of this century, Africa should become the engine of the world's growth and innovation. But we have to make the necessary investments right now. Investments in people, in infrastructure, and of course, in regional integration. Creating a bright future for today's young people means putting good governance and security at the center of everything we do. Rwanda remains committed to peace and stability efforts within agreed frameworks at both the regional and continental levels.
The East African Legislative Assembly has its headquarters in Arusha, Tanzania, and from the 24th of October to the 5th of November, its members are holding their sessions in Kigali. Adams Kwizera, RTV News.
Thank you, Adams. Now to the other big story today. The Imbuto Foundation, through the I-Accelerator initiative, has officially launched a competition for young people to create projects that focus on reproductive and mental health. And the best project will be rewarded $10,000 US.
Some young people say that the fact that parents are shy to talk to their children about reproductive health at a young age leads the children facing problems that include unplanned pregnancies. You know, parents nowadays are very busy due to their daily activities. There he or she comes back after work and finds the kids have already rested. Literally, there will be no time to discuss with them.
Lack of enough information on reproductive health to a child might be the root cause. And also, the way parents discuss with them makes the child flexible to talk to parents comfortably.
In order to help young people to understand and be aware of reproductive and mental health, the Imbuto Foundation, through the I-Accelerator initiative, organizes competitions aimed at supporting youth projects on various programs aimed at resolving reproductive health issues. Omutoni Sandrine, the Director General of the Imbuto Foundation, stated that this is an opportunity for the youth to demonstrate their solutions to the issues they are now facing.
We want the young people to look at these issues of mental health, issues of sexual and reproductive health in the community. And since these are issues that really speak to what they see every day around them, we believe that they are the first ones who should be able to provide solutions. In other words, we understand that young people, they may be young, but they are very aware of what's happening around them. They have sometimes even more information than us on what's happening within their peers, and that is the reason why we are asking them to provide solutions.
The permanent secretary in the Ministry of Gender and Family Promotion, Batamuri Zamile, noted that the problems facing the youth will not be solved anywhere but through discussions.
What we do as the ministry during various discussions with parents and children or other people who closely work with families is to emphasize on the importance of discussions. When people discuss over various matters, there are some of the issues that are solved and some of which are prevented. And when people discuss, they collaborate to find a solution without creating conflicts.
Since the inception of the I-Accelerator initiative in 2016, 15 youth projects have been funded, with the best project proposal receiving $10,000 US. Adams Kwizera, RTV News.
Now to health matters. Rwanda's Ministry of Health has reiterated that the country is prepared to deal with the threat an Ebola outbreak would pose. The measures are in place to minimize the likelihood of that happening. This comes as on Tuesday drills were held at Kigali International Airport. Manzi Prince has more.
In this exercise, there was taken an example of a plane landing in Rwanda, carrying passengers from a country that was confirmed to be having Ebola cases. It was informed that in the plane there's a passenger suspected to be having Ebola symptoms. After landing, the doctors and some different airport staff were ready with special equipment to receive the suspected passenger. Passengers in that plane were taken in a designated place, and the suspected passenger was taken to the hospital for checking if she has Ebola virus. In this drill, it was confirmed that the passenger has the Ebola virus and was taken at the Nyamata hospital specified for acquiring Ebola patients. The director of operations at the Rwanda Airports Company, Emmanuel Gachinya, states that this drill demonstrates how different staff collaborate and share information if someone in the plane is having Ebola.
The purpose of this exercise was to, first of all, to comply with the national and the international standards, where it requires airport to do regular emergency exercises in order to be able to respond to any emergency may occur at any time. So that's why we conducted this exercise for the purpose of familiarizing ourselves with the approved standards. The way we proceed with this action, we start by a scenario, and all actors also called for the emergency to respond according to their roles and responsibilities.
The Ministry of Health states that there is no Ebola virus patient in Rwanda. Dr. David Turatsinze of the Ebola Virus Disease Command Post states that such exercise demonstrates how the country is prepared to fight against the Ebola virus and prevent its spread in case found in the country.
We started by getting information that there was a suspect in the aircraft, and we had to make sure the passengers are safe. Because the crew is always briefed on these pandemics, and the medical team as well. So we had initially to protect the passengers, and we had to prepare upon arrival or upon landing, how do we handle the passengers and the patient or the suspect until we evacuate the suspect to the prepared place. So the preparedness actually touches the pillars. The pillars include the surveillance, or what we call contact tracing. We have the lab, we have infection prevention control, we have case management, and to be very honest, we have been preparing for the last 8 weeks, and we think we are on a very good level.
This drill on how the country is prepared in the prevention of Ebola from spreading if people carrying the virus were to be received was also practiced in hospitals, at the borders, and so to other places that might be the entry point of this virus. Citizens are encouraged to share information of where might be someone suspected to have Ebola symptoms. Prince Manzi, RTV News.
Moving on, after 3 years of single-use plastics being abandoned in Rwanda, no alcoholic beverages are allowed to be placed in plastic bottles. Only bottles for non-alcoholic beverages are allowed, with the condition that the importers cover the expenses of collecting them after use. We learn more from Noriath Agasaro.
Some manufacturers and traders feel that this strategy to eliminate single-use plastic is currently being carried out efficiently in accordance with the instructions given to them. Their products are wrapped in imported caps that will protect them from counterfeiters, as revealed by Kairanga Valens, who owns an alcoholic beverage factory, and Mhiz Marcel, who owns a bag factory, does not use plastics.
Everyone in the international market is interested to know what is wrapped in the cup. And yes, when people taste it, Rwandan beverages are quite popular. They believe in its quality more than their familiar products. At that time, when the flour is being packed, we needed plastic bags inside. However, nowadays we make waterproof bags, which is one of the solutions that have emerged as a result of replacing other outdated plastic containers that are currently on the market.
Dr. Mukiza Janvier, Division Manager of Cosmetics and Household Chemicals Assessment and Registration, says that until now plastic containers are not allowed to contain alcoholic drinks due to the effect they have on people's health, whether made in the country or abroad, except for water and juices.
At the moment, the beverages that we prohibit or do not allow in the plastic are alcoholic, non-alcoholic, and water does not include chemicals that can be dangerous to health if they come into touch with plastic. There are molecules in plastic that interact with alcohol, causing cancer, heart disease, kidney, and even reaching the brain and harming its veins.
Although plastic enters the country because there are still products that are not covered in other ways, there is a fee of 90 Rwandan francs paid for each kilos of plastic materials imported into the country after applying for permission in the private sector, PSF and REMA, as explained by Eric Mrera, who works at Private Sector Federation.
However, after payment, we provide you with a certificate of certifying that this person has complied with the obligation to pay the cost of what they damaged. You show this certificate to REMA, who then grants you a special right to use the plastic and to transfer your products to the Majirwa. This is because REMA staff members will release you when you show your permit. But if you don't have it, you are not permitted to do so.
In Rwanda, a law was passed in 2019 that bans the import, trading, and manufacturing of single-use plastic in the country. In 2008, another law was passed which completely bans the use of polyethylene bags as well as their import and sale. Rwanda and Norway are leading the fight to end plastic pollution, and UN members have agreed to establish an agreed legal framework by 2024. Nuriat Agasaro, RTV News.
Thank you, Nuriath. In more health news, medical experts say that one of the benefits of blood transfusions to mothers during childbirth is that it reduces the number of maternal deaths caused by various complications such as bleeding during and after childbirth. Now, according to Rwanda Biomedical Center, 1 out of 5 of all blood transfusions and donations in Rwanda are given to mothers during childbirth. Olivon Tete filed this report.
A mother we decided to address as Claudine is the mother of 7 children. She was transfused due to bleeding after giving birth. She shares a bit of her journey during and after pregnancy. I used to have anemia during pregnancy. Sometimes I felt dizzy and nauseous. After giving birth, I lost so much blood and they had to transfuse me. After receiving blood, I feel good. Dr. Jean-Marie Vianney Sebajuri, a gynecologist, points out some of the reasons why a mother may need blood transfusion.
There may be many reasons, but all these reasons have something to do with breeding. When the fact that the mother would have a problem with blood discharge, which may start in the first trimester of pregnancy. At that time, when she discharges blood, it may be necessary to have a blood transfusion. A mother may also need blood in case of ectopic pregnancy, which may cause internal bleeding. She may also have a postpartum hemorrhage, which requires blood transfusion.
He continues by explaining why it is important to give blood to mothers during birth.
This reduces the number of maternal deaths, especially mothers who die during birth, because when a woman is bleeding, she loses some blood components, and this may reduce the capacity of blood coagulation. When it is necessary to transfuse blood to a woman who is bleeding, it reduces the risk of having coagulopathy.
Dr. Muyombo Thomas, the division manager of the blood transfusion division in the Rwanda Biomedical Center, notes that 1/5 of all blood donated around the country is provided to women during birth.
According to the blood we collect in the country, I would say that 1/5 of the blood we collect is provided to women during birth. Often the reason behind that is when a woman is bleeding. Blood transfusion is only stopped fast only when she's no longer bleeding, or when the body reaches a minimum level of its needs. Due to those reasons, a mother can receive even more than 1 unit.
According to the Rwanda Biomedical Center, from January to April 2022, among the 37,707 blood units provided to hospitals, 19,985 blood units were provided to women only after giving birth, which equals to 53% of all the blood received in hospitals. Olive Nete, RTV News.
Up next, earlier today I was joined by a remarkable chef from a long line of talented chefs whose love affair for food goes back to when she was a child and allowed to look over her father's shoulder in his kitchen. Then she was blown away. Behind Steffi Metz's cooking is not only the love for detail, but unlimited hunger for something new. Also, certainly, a woman who has dedicated herself to her craft, body, soul, and heart, to carry on her family's legacy. Can you take me back to that time, being a young child with your father, when you first discovered that this is what you want to do for the rest of your life?
Yeah, I remember very well because my father was also a chef. And he took me to his kitchen, and in this first time I saw a very big kitchen with very big machines. And I remember there was a machine for chips, to make chips. You put the whole potato inside, and the ready chips comes out. Yes. I was thinking, okay.
Do you then start going to the kitchen and just practicing and challenging
From this point,
yourself?
I was in the kitchen from my father.
12 years old, you
Yes.
went to the kitchen and started to cook.
Yes, my parents give me a cooking book, and every weekend I cook. Yes, I invite all my classmates after my school to my house, and we create something together.
Wow.
Bonbons, sweets, candies, you know.
What did it mean to your father to have you follow his footsteps and do the thing that he too loved to cook? Did that bring you together? Did you have an opportunity to cook as a unit, you and your father?
No. Our relationship today is not the best. He is in Sri Lanka. Long time ago, he left to Sri Lanka. But a lot of things, what I do in my life, I see it's my father. Even he have for tourism a tourism village in Sri Lanka, and he make everything by himself: the cheese, the ham, bread, like me.
What would you say is your best dish to make?
Oh, I cannot say this because I cannot allow it by myself to have a best dish. When a customer say, I have to train this, I cannot. But what I really, really like, it's Japanese food, Peru food.
And what exactly makes you love those particular dishes? Is it the ingredients?
The ingredients and the spices. I like the taste. So from the Peru food, for example, the freshness. Even from from Japanese, the fish, the combination of seafood. Yeah.
I know you found yourself stuck, like most people, because of the pandemic, and you ended up staying in Rwanda. Is that correct? So,
Yeah.
What was that experience like for you? I mean, I'm a foodie myself, and one of the things I love to do is to just explore the ingredients, the foods every time I travel. Was that exciting for you when you first moved to Rwanda? And also, what is it that stood out for you?
Here in Rwanda, you found a lot of things. And now a lot of people say it's not many what you get, but I get a lot of things. It's enough.
You find that there's variety.
Yes.
To work with.
Yes.
Okay, now one of the things that I read about you is your passion to train other chefs and to have a generation of chefs that are passionate, but mentorship seems to be close to your heart. Why is that?
Because I see, even in Germany, in the whole world, not every chef cook from her stomach, from her inspiration, you know? So a lot of chefs cook what they have learned. We have to cook this tomato sauce like this. They don't create new things. And for me, the important thing is to have a lot of creativity in the kitchen. Without it's not working. And even with small things, even with only beans, you can make so many things. And I really wish the people here get a lot of creativity to improve the food quality here. Because food or eating, for me, have nothing to do with fill the stomach. It's enjoying, it's pleasure, you know? Right. So, and I think everybody can do this. Also, it has nothing to do with how many money I have or not. You need an understanding for food.
In all 25 years of professional cooking, or 38 years of cooking in general, what has been your greatest moment that you say, that moment brought me so much joy, but also what has been your greatest lesson?
I think it was as I opened my last cooking school. My last cooking school, it was in Potsdam. I worked for this more than 20 years. It was a very hard work. I had four. But my last was my baby, like my baby. I create everything by myself, even the furniture, how does it work. It was really It
was personal.
Yes, completely.
Yes. Biggest lesson you have learned in your years of cooking, summed up?
That you cannot satisfy everyone.
You cannot satisfy everybody.
You cannot. Even when you know, I always try my best, really. I'm very passionate in this. But also I had some guests that say, I don't like it.
Not everybody is going to love your food, no matter what you do. That's my time with you. Thank you so much for choosing RTV News. I am Isabel Masozera on behalf of the entire team here at RBA. Thank you for watching. Good night.